Hey everybody, it's Alex again, and welcome back to another episode of The Roasted Mind. Currently, right now, it is almost 5 in the morning, it's funny because I really wanted to start this off around like 2 a.m., and then my laptop started acting up. It wouldn't charge with the MagSafe. It was being really weird. I ended up finding a USB-C, and that worked in that regard, so regardless to say that was a lifesaver because I had so much that I wanted to do today or tonight, and I wasn't really able to do that at a certain point when my battery started dying. I've been hard at work since midnight. I went to the gym before then, made some dinner, had a snack, and then just really went to it. And that's kind of the purpose of today's episode. That's kind of the topic. And so in this cup, I had a cortado that I had made with my espresso machine, Vesta beans. I used their Goosebumps blend, really, really good blend. I recommend if you guys can get Vesta beans near you. I had used that one, and I'm still trying to get the latte art down, so I wasn't really particularly good at it, but it still came out pretty good. I added some honey, I added some cinnamon, two staples that I love to put in coffee, and I really just got to work. I have a little bit left, so I'm going to finish it off because I work tonight for the night shift. So I really didn't want to flip-flop my schedule because I worked the previous day night shift. So I decided, let me stay up, let me do some work. And exciting news, because by the time this video is out, I will have my website up. I am starting this website, and it's a really cheesy name, so don't really laugh at me, but it's called theroasted.site, right? So, the roasted mind, the roasted site. I honestly, super cheesy, but when I came up with that, I was like, oh my God, the roasted site. How cool is that? And it's probably not very, very cool, but hey, I enjoyed making it. It took a little bit of time, but on that site, which I use with Squarespace, not an ad or anything. I don't have any sponsors. It's just really the step that I took because I was trying to do a WordPress site, but then that became like a whole ordeal. And if you read the first blog post, the first journal entry on there, I go and I explained why I decided to just do it instead of worrying so much about the ins and outs, the little fickles. What is better? What can you do more with this? What can you do with that? And I feel like when you start to think too much about the small little details, because that's really what I was focused on, was the smaller details. I was really focused on, is this really better than that? Or do I have more opportunity with this one or this and that? What has more adaptability? What has more reliability in the long term? When you start to look at all of that, instead of what do I want to do? What is my purpose? What is my goal for this thing? Then you start to get lost and you start to get sidetracked, and it's not really fair for yourself to continue to be sidetracked in that way because you have these goals, you have these ambitions, you want to do these things, and yet you're so caught up on the minute, and I'm talking like the smallest little things, like which builder lets me put my logo up here, or where can I put an embedded player there, or blah 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 blah. You lose sight, you lose focus, and then you end up not really wanting to do it. You procrastinate, lack of a better term. You procrastinate hard and you don't do anything about it. And that's where I saw myself when I was making this website, because it had been like a week, I want to say, since I had decided, okay, I want to do this. How am I going to go about it? I did all this research. I looked up on Google, I searched Reddit forums, YouTube, all these different resources that I had. And maybe that's also part of the problem, is that there are so many resources out there, and you all really, I'm really bad at this. So I always get the same answers, but I still continue to look and look and look to validate my decision, to kind of tell myself, hey, well, I'm making the right choice. And I feel like that's the problem. That's part of the problem, is the fact that I do want so much quote unquote knowledge, right? In terms of these resources, I want to know exactly what I'm getting into and that it's the best choice. But I get lost in that as well. And the more and more that I look, the less and less I do. And so eventually, when I was in the middle of my WordPress, I already bought a hosting site, I bought a domain and everything, and I was so confused, but I told myself I'm determined to learn this. But that same day, I had kind of lost focus. And I told myself, well, do I really want to spend all this time learning web development, learning what it takes to get a website up and running, and then doing all the security checks, and you got to run all the plugins and all this and that, and it was so convoluted, and that's not really my field. That's not what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do was put the Roasted Mind on a website and kind of get rid of the Linktree. Linktree I kind of really got bored of. I wanted to put it all together into one website, make it really cool, make it really cohesive, and then just update it from here time to time. Really make it me without having to worry so much about the fancy schmancy web development process and design and all that. And don't get me wrong, that's all really cool and great, but that's not what I wanted to do. I have other things I wanted to focus on. I have other things that I want to continue growing into and bettering myself and really trying to push myself towards these other goals, whereas fancy schmancy quote unquote web development really wasn't my niche. And it really isn't what I want to focus on. It might be somebody else's, sure. But one, I wasn't really willing to pay anybody to make a website for me for this small form podcast that only has less than 40 episodes. And two, I really enjoyed what I did with it. Squarespace has been cool. And tonight really was the biggest progress that I had made on this site. All together. It took me maybe about 3.5 days to get it all together, and that's with working. So when I was at work, I would log into the computer, and on my downtime I would just pop in an idea here and there, try to do this and that, and I would actually get a lot done, but not as much as I did here. And so that kind of bleeds into the topic of tonight's episode, which I know I kind of rambled on a little bit, but that's kind of the point, is that I'm really determined to grow my show into this kind of platform. I'm really determined to kind of show myself and other people who watch and listen, and you all as well, what it really takes to get up and go, to start that growth, to kind of spark that fire. For me, it was this website, and tonight, drinking the coffee and just going at it. I had done nothing else besides fix this and that, run some logos, edit this and edit that and blah, blah, blah. And the site still has a page that I'm not ready yet to unlock for everybody, but everything else is open. Everything else is fair game. It's going to start small, but it's going to grow. And as I grow, so will the website. And that really kind of goes to show on where I'm at right now in my progress of personal development, on how kind of confident I am to grow and put it out there that I am growing. And I made it known that this show really isn't meant for me to be giving advice. This show isn't meant for me to kind of tell you all what to do and how you should do it. Sorry. And it's not really meant as like me preaching to the choir. It's not, this show and everything that I stand for, everything that this show stands for is just me. It's me speaking. It's us kind of communicating over this cup of coffee. And that's really what I want to emulate with this website. I want it to be very cozy. I want it to be very, unique is such a bold word, but I want it to be a reflection of myself in a sense. I want it to really have whoever looks at it understands who I am, understands what I'm into, understands what I stand for. And I don't really put it on there in bold text, this is my mission statement. I don't do that. I want you to know what I'm at and how I'm growing, and I want you to see, or rather maybe I want it myself to see. And maybe this is all kind of just for me, but I want there to be a visual progress, growth. because I'm very determined to grow. I've always been determined to grow. I feel like I have been kind of stagnant, and I've spoken about this, I think 2 episodes ago, or maybe 3 episodes ago. I've been very stagnant in my growth this past year, and so this year, crap, we're already March. Tonight is March 8th, right? And I'm releasing this a day early because I'm excited, because I'm very excited to grow, and I'm very excited to put this out there and pop it on the website and show the world what I'm capable of. Yeah, it wasn't from scratch. Yeah, I don't know anything about coding. I kind of copy some stuff from another website and pop it in, and it works. But I was determined enough to put it all together. I was headstrong in the fact that I wanted to get rid of this link tree and really kind of organize all my thoughts on one thing. I haven't told anybody. And I think that was really the hardest part, is that I hadn't told anyone that I was making this website. I hadn't told anybody about my determination. And, on the regular, I don't really speak out to other people about my progress. I'm usually one of those people that I'd rather be asked. I would rather be asked, hey, how are you doing? I would rather be asked, what's new? I would rather be asked those kind of questions that indicate growth. You know what I mean? Because I don't really feel like anybody wants to listen to me boaster and brag about how my growth is going. That's why people ask, right? That's why people tend to be interested in these things, because they tend to ask. And if I just go up and say, oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing that and blah, 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 nobody's gonna really care. And I get it, progress isn't really meant for other people to care. It's supposed to be for you to feel confident. And that's true. But then the more that I brag and the more that I boast, the more that I feel like irrelevant to myself, the more that I feel like these accomplishments don't necessarily matter, and I'm one of those people that I learned how to shut up about what I'm doing. I learned how to shut up about the new steps that I'm taking, about the new project that I'm working on, this and that, because I used to really like start something, and I talked about this as well. I would start something, talk about it, talk it up, chop it up, and then I'd never see it through. I would never see it through, and I hated that. So I grew into this person that kind of keeps it to himself, but lets the reveal be big, because I deserve it. If I'm willing to put something out there, whether it's art, musical creation, this podcast, whether it's food that I cook or bake, or coffee that I make, or my writing, if I kind of make it big when I put it out there, then I give myself the sense of, oh, holy crap, I really did this. I really did do this latte art, or I really did write this chapter, or I really did play this piece, or I baked these croissants, and the more that I tend to do that, the more that I feel motivated to continue and grow. And the more and more that I kind of realize and speak out and use this show as my outlet, as my kind of audio diary, audio journal, the more I realize how determined I am to continue going. How embarrassed I would be for myself if I just gave up and quit. Quitting really isn't easy. I'm not going to say it is. Quitting does take a lot of thought. It does take a lot of kind of understanding of where you are and where you want to be and where you cannot go, where it might be literally impossible for you to progress. And that's okay. Quitting is not failure. But for me, I at least have not reached that point, because I'm very determined to continue pushing and growing and doing my best, no matter whether it's in my career, no matter whether it's in my hobbies or my artistic side or my creative side, no matter whether it's in my personal side, my speech, my gait, my my dress, my physical appearance, my mental health, whatever it is, whatever aspect in this grand circle that I call me, that I call myself, that is Alex. This growth, I'm very determined to push and continue to grow and grow and grow and be the best version of myself. Because, look at me right now. It's now 5:13 in the morning. I've been up since 1 p.m. because I slept in the morning because I had worked the night before. And I have not done a single thing that I would call kind of wasting away, I feel like today has been a very progressive day for me. I feel like today has been a very, what's that word? Linear? Exponential? It's been a very exponential day for me. And that's great. Whether tomorrow is going to be or not, doesn't matter. Because I am miles away from where I was yesterday, 2 days ago. And yeah, maybe part of that is the excitement from the website that I'm opening. So what? Who cares? I don't see that as an ignorance. I see that as a confidence. I see that as, well, holy crap, I'm starting a website. It's very cool. At least I think that's very cool. If nobody else does, then that really doesn't matter. Because growth isn't meant for other people. Growth is meant for you. Growth is meant to continue that growth cycle. It's very exponential. You see, that's the word I was going for. Very exponential. And the more and more you start to realize how determined you are in it, the less you stop. The less you stop, and the more you understand really who you are. And the more I really understand who I am. And I feel like this year I have really made a lot of progress in that, understanding who I am, what I want, what I can say, what I can't say, how I should act, how I should dress, what I want to eat, all this and that. And it's amazing. I have never reached this point before. I have never reached this point of self-confidence or determination to be self-confident and grow and just continue to better myself and be the best version of myself that I would like to be. It has been a stagnant year for me last year, and before that was a very sharp incline in growth before I reached that stagnant period, and before that was an even lower point that was more stagnant and really didn't go anywhere. So yeah, I recognize that life can be ups and downs and side to sides. I'm not saying that that's not true. I'm not saying that that's not important to recognize. What I am saying is that who I am now, I am proud of. What I have done tonight, I am proud of. I cannot say that I have any regrets for tonight because I at least am satisfied. I at least am satisfied that right now I feel this determination to grow and better myself and release these projects. I never thought I would open a website, but look at me now. It's not very easy to say in front of other people, that I am confident in who I am, that I am great, that I am a great person, that I am great because I recognize that I have these abilities. And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that I'm boasting out and telling you all that I am a great person. I am saying to myself that I at least feel great, that I at least understand right now, maybe not fully, but I do understand who I am and what I want and what it's going to take to get there. The end goal might be a little blurry, might be a little fuzzy, but I just took a step and I'm closer to that door. I'm closer to getting up there. I'm closer to being the best version of myself. And I appreciate that. I respect that. And I'm very proud of myself for feeling this way. I'm going to continue working hard. I'm going to continue pushing for my growth. I'm going to continue being determined to figure out what the end goal is, to figure out who I am, to figure out what it is that I'm working towards. And I'm going to say it now, but it could change. Who knows? It could change. But when I get there, I don't necessarily want to stop. I want to keep going. I am determined to grow. So thank you everybody again for watching. It's been a pleasure. Check out my website. I'm gonna link it down below. It's gonna be theroasted.site. I'm pretty satisfied with how it came out, but I will continue updating it and making changes as it goes on. So please take a look at it. Let me know what you think. And as always, I'll see you guys later. Okay, bye.